Trans woman rejected by boss, then ends up owning the entire company. How will this story turn out? To find out, watch the video to the end. But first, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications to get more stories like this. When Olivia first walked into the towering glass building of Delmont Enterprises, her heart brimmed with a mix of hope and nervous energy. It was her dream job, a position in the company's marketing division that would allow her to showcase her creativity while climbing the corporate ladder. But more importantly, it was a chance to prove that she, as a proud trans woman, could thrive in a competitive, high-pressure environment. For months, Olivia had prepared for this opportunity. She aced the interviews, charmed the HR department with her portfolio, and passed every test with flying colors. The letter of employment she received felt like a culmination of years of hard work and resilience in the face of countless challenges. Her excitement, however, was short-lived. From the moment she started her role, it became clear that her manager, Mr. Keaton, was less than enthusiastic about her joining the team. A man of rigid traditions and a known stickler for conformity, Keaton never missed a chance to make Olivia feel like an outsider. "Olivia," Keaton said one morning during a team meeting, his tone cold and curt, "next time, try not to be so unconventional in your presentations. Our clients value professionalism above all else." The word unconventional stung. Olivia had spent hours crafting a bold, innovative pitch that her colleagues quietly praised. But Keaton's disdain for her wasn't rooted in her work. It was something deeper, something unspoken yet painfully obvious. The atmosphere in the office wasn't much better. While a few of her colleagues were kind and welcoming, others avoided her, their whispered remarks and sideways glances unmistakable. Olivia tried to brush it off, reminding herself that she belonged there just as much as anyone else. Despite the challenges, Olivia poured herself into her work. Her determination to succeed outweighed the discomfort of navigating an environment that seemed intent on undermining her. She spent late nights perfecting campaigns, went above and beyond for clients, and built a reputation for delivering results. But Keaton's attitude never wavered. He dismissed her ideas in meetings, excluded her from key projects, and, on more than one occasion, took credit for her work. One day, Olivia overheard him speaking with another manager in the hallway. "She's just not a good fit," Keaton muttered. "We need people who align with the company's image, not someone looking to make a statement." The words were a gut punch, but Olivia refused to let them break her. Instead, they fueled her resolve. If Keaton wanted to sideline her, she would make herself impossible to ignore. Her breakthrough came during a high-stakes pitch for a major client. The project had been assigned to another team member, but when that person fell ill, Olivia seized the opportunity. She stayed up for 3 nights straight, meticulously preparing every detail of the presentation. When the day of the pitch arrived, Olivia walked into the boardroom with her head held high. Keaton sat at the head of the table, flanked by senior executives and the client representatives. The room buzzed with anticipation as Olivia took her place at the front, her confidence unwavering. Her presentation was nothing short of spectacular. She wove a compelling narrative around the client's brand, complete with striking visuals and a clear strategy for market growth. The executives nodded approvingly, and by the time she finished, even Keaton couldn't mask his surprise. The client was thrilled, and the deal was secured. Olivia's colleagues congratulated her, and for a brief moment, she felt the weight of Keaton's bias lift. But the victory was short-lived. Instead of recognizing her contribution, Keaton downplayed her success in front of the team. "It was a decent effort," he said dismissively. But let's not forget that this was a team accomplishment. Olivia's jaw tightened, but she bit back her frustration. She knew arguing with him would only make things worse. The final straw came a few weeks later when Olivia discovered that Keaton had recommended her for a performance review, citing difficulty adapting to company culture as his reasoning. It was a thinly veiled attempt to push her out, and Olivia knew it. As she sat in her apartment that evening, staring at the review notice, a wave of anger and determination washed over her. She wasn't going to let Keaton or anyone else dictate her worth. She had worked too hard, endured too much, to let prejudice stand in her way. Olivia knew that Keaton's performance review was a direct attack, not on her abilities but on her very existence. She refused to let it derail her career, but she also understood that fighting back would require a strategic approach. She began documenting everything, every project she led, every piece of praise she received from clients, and every instance of Keaton's bias. Her determination didn't go unnoticed. Among her colleagues, a few quietly voiced their support. "You're the best thing to happen to this team," one of them, a junior associate named Clara, whispered one afternoon. "Don't let him get to you." Olivia smiled at the kind words, but the truth was, the isolation was beginning to wear on her. The hostile environment felt suffocating, and despite her resilience, there were nights when she questioned whether staying was worth it. One evening, while scrolling through her emails, she came across a message from an old friend, Ryan, who had been her classmate during her MBA program. Ryan now worked at a major consulting firm and had always been one of Olivia's biggest supporters. "Hey Liv," the email read. "I've been following your work at Delmont. If you ever need a change of scenery, let me know. We'd love to have someone with your talent on our team." For a brief moment, Olivia considered taking Ryan up on his offer. But then she thought about everything she had endured to get where she was. Leaving would feel like letting Keaton win, and Olivia wasn't ready to concede. Instead, Olivia decided to double down on her efforts. She reached out to senior executives, offering to lead a new initiative focused on diversifying Delmont's marketing campaigns. It was a bold move, but she framed it as a strategic opportunity to expand the company's reach and appeal to a broader audience. The executives were intrigued, though hesitant. "It's an ambitious idea," one of them said during a meeting. "But can you deliver?" Olivia met the question with confidence. "I've already outlined a preliminary strategy," she said, sliding a detailed proposal across the table. "If you give me the resources, I'll make it happen." To her surprise, they approved the project. It was a rare win, but Olivia knew the real challenge lay ahead. As she began assembling a team for the initiative, Olivia faced resistance from within her department. Some colleagues were reluctant to join, wary of aligning themselves with a project that Keaton clearly disapproved of. Others simply didn't believe in the vision. But Olivia persisted, eventually bringing together a small group of like-minded individuals who shared her passion for innovation. Among them was Clara, whose quiet determination mirrored Olivia's own. The team worked tirelessly, often staying late into the night to develop campaigns that were bold, inclusive, and unlike anything Delmont had done before. Olivia's leadership style, collaborative yet decisive, earned her the respect of her team, and for the first time in months, she felt a sense of camaraderie. When the initiative's first campaign launched, the response was overwhelmingly positive. Social media buzzed with praise for Delmont's fresh approach, and the company saw a significant uptick in engagement and sales. Clients began requesting Olivia by name, impressed by her creativity and vision. But success came with its own set of challenges. Keaton, unable to ignore Olivia's rising profile, grew increasingly hostile. He began nitpicking her work, assigning her menial tasks, and excluding her from important meetings. One afternoon, after yet another dismissive encounter, Clara pulled Olivia aside. "You can't keep letting him treat you like this," she said. "You've proven yourself over and over. It's time to escalate." Olivia hesitated. Part of her wanted to confront Keaton directly, but she knew that doing so could jeopardize everything she had worked for. Instead, she decided to reach out to someone with the power to make a difference. That evening, Olivia sent an email to one of Delmont's board members, a woman named Sophia Chong. Sophia was a trailblazer in her own right, having broken countless barriers in her career. Olivia had met her briefly during a company event and had been inspired by her story. "Dear Ms. Chong," Olivia wrote, "I hope this email finds you well. I'm reaching out because I believe in the potential of Delmont Enterprises to be a leader in innovation and inclusivity. However, I've encountered challenges that I believe are holding us back from achieving that vision. I would appreciate the opportunity to discuss this further." She hit send, unsure of what to expect. To her surprise, Sophia replied the next morning. "Let's meet," the email read. "I'd love to hear more." The meeting with Sophia marked a turning point. Over coffee in a sleek downtown cafe, Olivia shared her experiences, the highs and lows, the challenges she had faced, and the vision she had for Delmont's future. Sophia listened intently, her expression thoughtful. "It sounds like you've done incredible work under difficult circumstances," she said. "And it's clear you're passionate about making a difference. Let me see what I can do." Olivia left the meeting feeling a renewed sense of hope. For the first time, she felt like someone with real influence was in her corner. A few weeks after her meeting with Sophia Chang, Olivia began noticing subtle shifts in the office environment. For one, Keaton seemed more restrained in his criticism. Though still cold and dismissive, he no longer openly undermined her in meetings. At first, Olivia wasn't sure if this was Sophia's influence or mere coincidence, but she wasn't one to dwell. Instead, she focused on the momentum she had built with her team and the continued success of their campaigns. Meanwhile, Sophia began taking an active interest in Olivia's work. She invited Olivia to present her campaign strategies to the board of directors, a rare honor for someone at her level. Olivia approached the opportunity with her characteristic determination, working tirelessly to prepare a presentation that was both compelling and data-driven. On the day of the presentation, Olivia stood in the expansive boardroom, her nerves simmering beneath the surface. The room was filled with Delmont's most powerful figures, including the CEO, several board members, and, of course, Keaton, who sat in the corner with his usual look of disdain. "Good morning," Olivia began, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "Thank you for the opportunity to share the progress of our latest marketing initiative. What I'll show you today is not only the impact we've had on our clients but also how this approach positions Delmont Enterprises as a leader in innovation and inclusivity." As she spoke, Olivia's confidence grew. She walked the board through the success metrics of her campaigns, higher engagement rates, increased client satisfaction, and a notable boost in revenue. She highlighted testimonials from clients who praised Delmont's fresh approach, emphasizing how these efforts had strengthened the company's reputation. When she finished, the room erupted in applause. Even the CEO, a typically stoic man, offered a rare smile. "This is impressive work, Ms. Bennett," he said. "Your initiative is exactly the kind of forward-thinking we need." After the meeting, Sophia pulled Olivia aside. "You were phenomenal," she said. "And the board agrees. I think it's time we take your role to the next level." Olivia blinked, her heart skipping a beat. "What do you mean?" Sophia smiled. "There's an opening for a senior position in marketing. I'm recommending you for it." The words felt surreal. Olivia had worked tirelessly for this kind of recognition, but to hear it from someone as influential as Sophia was overwhelming. "Thank you," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "I won't let you down." As Sophia's recommendation moved through the formal channels, Keaton's attitude shifted once again. It was clear he saw Olivia's rise as a threat, and he began a campaign of subtle sabotage. He reassigned her team members, delayed her access to resources, and attempted to discredit her contributions by spreading misinformation among the higher-ups. Olivia, however, refused to be deterred. With the support of Sophia and her growing network of allies within the company, she countered each of Keaton's moves with professionalism and poise. She documented everything, ensuring there was a clear record of his actions should she need to escalate the matter. The breaking point came during a quarterly review meeting. Keaton, in a last-ditch effort to undermine Olivia, presented a skewed report that downplayed her achievements and framed her as difficult to work with. As he spoke, Olivia sat silently, her expression calm but resolute. She had anticipated this move and had come prepared. When it was her turn to speak, Olivia pulled out a series of reports and emails that contradicted Keaton's claims. She laid out her case methodically, using data and testimonials to highlight her contributions and refute his accusations. By the time she finished, the room was silent. The executives exchanged glances, clearly unimpressed with Keaton's tactics. The CEO leaned forward, his gaze fixed on Keaton. "It seems there's been a misunderstanding," he said, his tone icy. "Ms. Bennett's work speaks for itself. I suggest we put this matter to rest." Keaton's face turned red, but he had no choice but to nod. Olivia felt a surge of vindication, though she maintained her composure. She knew this wasn't just about her, it was about setting a precedent for how the company treated its employees. Shortly after the meeting, Olivia received the official offer for the senior marketing position. The news spread quickly, and congratulations poured in from her colleagues. Even those who had once been hesitant to support her now recognized her as a force to be reckoned with. Keaton, meanwhile, was reassigned to a less prominent role, a clear signal from the higher-ups that his behavior would no longer be tolerated. Olivia couldn't help but feel a sense of poetic justice, though she chose to focus her energy on the opportunities ahead rather than dwelling on the past.
With her promotion to senior marketing manager, Olivia finally felt like she had solidified her place within Delmont Enterprises. No longer was she the outsider struggling to prove herself. She was now a leader, respected and admired by many within the company. However, she knew that power in the corporate world was never stable. If she wanted to create lasting change, she had to keep pushing forward. Her first order of business in her new role was restructuring the company's marketing strategies. Olivia had a vision for a more inclusive and forward-thinking brand, and she wasted no time implementing bold new campaigns that resonated with modern audiences. Clients were thrilled, sales skyrocketed, and Delmont's reputation as a progressive, cutting-edge firm began to solidify. But Olivia wasn't just focused on external success. She wanted to change the toxic culture within the company itself. For too long, individuals like Keaton had been allowed to thrive in an environment that rewarded exclusion and outdated thinking. Olivia knew that the only way to prevent future employees from experiencing what she had gone through was to address the root of the problem. She proposed a company-wide diversity and inclusion initiative, one that wasn't just performative but built into the foundation of Delmont's operations. This meant revising hiring practices, implementing bias training for managers, and creating mentorship programs for employees from underrepresented backgrounds. At first, there was resistance. Some executives saw it as unnecessary, a mere PR move rather than a strategic business decision. But Olivia had come prepared with data showing that diverse workplaces led to higher innovation and profitability. She also had allies in high places, namely Sophia Chong, who championed Olivia's efforts at the highest levels. After several months of discussions, Olivia's initiative was approved. She had officially changed the DNA of Delmont Enterprises. But just as everything seemed to be falling into place, Olivia received unexpected news. Delmont's CEO was stepping down. The announcement sent shockwaves through the company, leaving many wondering who would take the reins. There were whispers about internal candidates, but rumors suggested that an external hire might be brought in. Then, to Olivia's astonishment, Sophia pulled her aside one afternoon. "We need to talk," she said, her expression unreadable. Olivia sat across from her in one of the executive conference rooms, feeling a knot of anticipation in her stomach. "What is it?" Sophia took a breath before speaking. "The board has been reviewing candidates for the CEO position. Your name has come up." For a moment, Olivia thought she had misheard. "Me? CEO?" Sophia nodded. "You've proven yourself as a leader, Olivia. Your impact on this company has been undeniable. Some board members believe you're exactly the kind of visionary we need." Olivia was speechless. She had never allowed herself to dream this big. Climbing the corporate ladder had always been her goal, but becoming CEO? That was another level entirely. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Olivia went through rigorous interviews with the board, presenting her vision for Delmont's future. She outlined plans for expansion, digital innovation, and a continued commitment to diversity and ethical business practices. She knew she was facing stiff competition. Some of the other candidates had decades of experience as executives, but Olivia had something they didn't: a fresh, modern perspective and a track record of delivering results. Her biggest challenge came during the final board interview. One of the more traditional board members questioned whether she had the experience necessary to lead a company of Delmont's size. "You've done impressive work, Ms. Bennett," he said, "but being CEO requires a certain level of pedigree. How do you expect to handle the pressures of the role?" Olivia met his gaze head-on. "With the same determination that's brought me this far," she said. "Delmont doesn't need another leader who simply maintains the status quo. It needs someone willing to take risks, to push boundaries, and to bring this company into the future. I am that person." The room fell silent for a moment before Sophia spoke. "That's exactly why she's the best candidate," The final decision from the board was looming, and Olivia could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on her. She had spent years proving her worth, but now, everything depended on whether the board saw her as a leader who could take Delmont Enterprises into the future. For days, whispers filled the halls. Employees speculated on who the next CEO would be. Some favored seasoned executives from rival firms, while others secretly hoped Olivia would be chosen. She had built a strong reputation within the company, and many junior employees admired her resilience and leadership. Then the email arrived. Subject: Delmont Enterprises, CEO announcement. Olivia took a deep breath before clicking on it. Dear Delmont team, we are pleased to announce that after an extensive review process, the board of directors has selected Olivia Bennett as the next CEO of Delmont Enterprises. She reread the words, making sure she wasn't imagining them. Then, a rush of emotions, disbelief, pride, relief, washed over her. She had done it. The news spread quickly. Employees who had once hesitated to support her now sent congratulatory messages. Colleagues who had stood by her from the beginning beamed with pride. Even those who had ignored or doubted her before now seemed eager to align themselves with her success. Keaton, on the other hand, was noticeably absent from the celebrations. Olivia later learned that he had resigned the moment the board's decision was finalized. The man who had tried to push her out had ultimately been the one to leave. Olivia didn't waste time dwelling on his departure. She had bigger things to focus on, like making sure her leadership set a new precedent for the company. On her first day as CEO, she walked into her office, and took a deep breath. The view from the top floor was breathtaking. A sweeping panorama of the city she had once walked into as an uncertain, ambitious employee. She thought about every struggle, every insult, every moment of doubt she had endured to reach this point. And then she thought about the future. Her first executive order was clear. Delmont Enterprises would be restructuring its leadership training programs to ensure that bias, discrimination, and exclusion had no place within the company. She implemented mentorship programs for young professionals, ensuring that no one, no matter their background, would have to fight the way she did just to be seen. A month into her role, she held a company-wide meeting. As employees gathered in the main auditorium, Olivia stepped onto the stage. Many of you know my journey, she began. You know that I was once an employee sitting in the same seats you are today, wondering whether my voice would ever be heard. I faced challenges, and I know many of you have too. She paused, scanning the room, her gaze landing on newer employees, people who looked hopeful, inspired. Change isn't just about policies. It's about people. It's about making sure that talent, hard work, and innovation are what drive success, not outdated traditions. The applause was thunderous.
That evening, she sat in her office, looking at an old picture of herself from years ago, before the corporate world had tested her resilience. She smiled, knowing that if she could go back in time and speak to her younger self, she'd say one thing: "You made it. And now, you're going to help others make it too." As Olivia settled into her role as CEO, she found herself busier than ever. Meetings, strategy sessions, and high-profile engagements filled her calendar, but she never lost sight of her core mission: to create a company where everyone could thrive. She focused on building a leadership team that reflected her vision. One of her first hires was Clara, the junior associate who had supported her through her toughest times. Clara was promoted to a managerial position, where her creativity and passion for inclusion flourished. Olivia also reached out to external talent, bringing in individuals who shared her commitment to innovation and integrity. The impact was immediate. Under Olivia's leadership, Delmont Enterprises saw unprecedented growth. Clients praised the company's fresh, forward-thinking approach, and employees reported higher levels of job satisfaction and engagement. Olivia's story, her resilience, her triumph, became a symbol of hope, not just within Delmont but across the industry. One day, as she was preparing for a keynote speech at a global business conference, Olivia received an email from an unexpected sender, Ryan, her old friend who had once offered her a position at his consulting firm. "Olivia, I just read about Delmont's transformation under your leadership. It's incredible to see how far you've come. I always knew you were destined for greatness. Let's catch up soon, on me this time." Olivia smiled, replying with a warm note of gratitude. Ryan had been a source of encouragement when she needed it most, and she was eager to reconnect. As she arrived at the conference, Olivia was greeted by a wave of applause. She took the stage, the lights casting a warm glow, and addressed an audience of leaders from around the world. "Change is never easy," she began. "It requires courage, persistence, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. But it's worth it, because when we create spaces where everyone can contribute their unique talents, we all succeed." Her words resonated deeply, sparking discussions that would continue long after the conference ended. Back at Delmont, Olivia's efforts continued to bear fruit. She spearheaded initiatives that expanded the company's global reach, established scholarship programs for underrepresented students, and invested in sustainable practices. But more than her professional achievements, Olivia took pride in the culture she had fostered, a culture of respect, collaboration, and opportunity. One afternoon, as she walked through the office, she passed a team of interns brainstorming ideas for a new campaign. They looked up, their faces lighting up as they saw her. "Ms. Bennett," one of them called out. "Would you like to join us?" Olivia smiled and pulled up a chair. "Tell me what you've got so far," she said, genuinely curious. Moments like these reminded Olivia why she had fought so hard to stay at Delmont. It wasn't just about her career, it was about paving the way for others to succeed. Years later, as Olivia looked back on her journey, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. The challenges she had faced had shaped her into the leader she was today. And though the road hadn't been easy, it had been worth every step. One evening, as the sun set over the city, she sat in her office, writing a letter to her future self. "Dear Olivia, never forget where you came from or why you started. Keep pushing boundaries, keep inspiring others, and never stop believing in the power of change. The best is yet to come." She sealed the letter and placed it in a drawer, a reminder of the journey she had traveled and the legacy she was building. As the years went on, Olivia's influence extended far beyond the walls of Delmont Enterprises. Her story became a beacon of hope for countless individuals who faced discrimination and adversity in their professional lives. News outlets featured her journey in inspiring profiles, and her speeches at conferences drew thousands, with her name becoming synonymous with perseverance and progress. One of her most impactful initiatives as CEO was the creation of the Olivia Bennett Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting underrepresented professionals in corporate environments. The foundation offered scholarships, mentorship programs, and resources for individuals looking to break into industries where they had historically been excluded. At the foundation's first annual gala, Olivia stood before a room filled with supporters, mentor, and beneficiaries of her work. Many of them had overcome immense challenges to reach their own goals, and Olivia couldn't help but feel a deep connection to their stories. "Tonight," she began, her voice steady and warm, "we celebrate more than just success. We celebrate resilience, courage, and the belief that everyone deserves a seat at the table. When I started at Delmont, I never imagined I'd one day be standing here. But I'm proof that change is possible when we refuse to back down." The applause was deafening, and Olivia felt a swell of pride as she looked out over the crowd. Among them, she spotted Clara, now a vice president at Delmont, beaming with pride. Next to her sat Elena, a former mentee who had risen to prominence as a city planner, thanks in part to Olivia's guidance. In the months following the gala, Olivia's foundation began working on its most ambitious project yet, the Future Leaders Initiative, a program aimed at preparing the next generation of CEOs from diverse backgrounds. The initiative partnered with universities, corporations, and community organizations to create a pipeline of talent ready to lead industries into the future. One of the participants, a young trans man named Aiden, caught Olivia's attention during a workshop. He had a quiet confidence and a natural ability to inspire others, reminding Olivia of her younger self. "Aiden," she said after the session, "have you ever considered starting your own company?" He laughed nervously. "I've thought about it, but it feels impossible." "Nothing is impossible," Olivia replied firmly. "I was once told I didn't belong in the corporate world. But here I am. And I believe you can achieve even more." Her words struck a chord with Aiden, and over the next few years, she mentored him closely. When he eventually launched his own startup, a tech company focused on accessibility, Olivia was among his biggest supporters. As Olivia's reputation grew, so did her platform. She was invited to join the boards of several global organizations, from Fortune 500 companies to humanitarian groups. Despite her busy schedule, she made it a point to stay connected to the people and communities that had inspired her journey. One day, while visiting a local community center, she encountered a group of high school students working on a robotics project. Their enthusiasm was infectious, and Olivia couldn't resist sitting down with them to learn more. "What's the goal?" she asked, watching as they carefully assembled components. "We're building a robot that can help with farming tasks," one of the students explained. "It's for a competition, but we hope it can actually help people one day." Olivia nodded, impressed. "Keep at it," she said. "The world needs thinkers and innovators like you." Before she left, she offered to sponsor their project through her foundation, ensuring they had the resources they needed to succeed. Meanwhile, Delmont Enterprises continued to thrive under Olivia's leadership. The company's stock reached record highs, its client base expanded globally, and its reputation as a trailblazer in innovation and inclusivity only grew stronger. Internally, the culture had transformed into one of collaboration and mutual respect, with employees at all levels feeling empowered to contribute their ideas. But Olivia knew that success wasn't just about numbers or accolades. It was about the people whose lives had been changed for the better. One day, she received a letter from an employee named Marcus, who worked in the company's logistics department. "Dear Ms. Bennett, I wanted to thank you for creating an environment where people like me can thrive. As a single father, I've always struggled to balance work and family, but Delmont's new policies have made all the difference. For the first time, I feel like I'm not just a cog in the machine, I'm part of something bigger." The letter brought tears to Olivia's eyes. It was a reminder of why she had fought so hard to lead with purpose. As the years passed, Olivia's impact extended beyond the corporate world. She wrote a memoir, Stronger Together, chronicling her journey and the lessons she had learned along the way. The book became a bestseller, sparking conversations about resilience, leadership, and the importance of challenging systemic biases. She also became a sought-after mentor for young leaders across industries, often hosting workshops and one-on-one sessions to share her insights. Her ability to connect with people on a personal level made her an unforgettable figure in their lives. One evening, after wrapping up a mentorship session, Olivia found herself reflecting on her own mentors, the people who had believed in her when few others did. Sophia Chang's unwavering support, Ryan's encouragement, Clara's loyalty, they had all played a role in shaping her path. Olivia decided to honor them by creating the Chang Scholarship Fund, named after Sophia, to support underrepresented students pursuing careers in leadership and innovation. The fund's first recipients included aspiring entrepreneurs, scientists, and artists, all of whom credited Olivia with inspiring them to dream bigger. On the 10th anniversary of her promotion to CEO, Delmont Enterprises hosted a celebration in her honor. The event brought together employees, clients, and partners from around the world, all eager to recognize Olivia's extraordinary contributions. As she stood on the stage, looking out over the crowd, she felt a profound sense of fulfillment. Her journey had been anything but easy, but every challenge had shaped her into the leader she was today. In her speech, Olivia reflected on the lessons she had learned. "Leadership isn't about power," she said. "It's about service. It's about lifting others up, creating opportunities, and leaving the world better than you found it. That's what I've tried to do, and I hope it's what each of you will continue to do." The audience erupted into applause, and as Olivia stepped down from the stage, she was greeted by her team, her family, and the countless people whose lives she had touched. That night, as she returned to her office one last time before heading home, she gazed out at the city lights. She thought about the young woman who had walked into Delmont Enterprises years ago, full of hope and determination but unsure of what the future held. She smiled, knowing that everything she had endured, the struggles, the triumphs, the lessons, had led her to this moment. And as she closed her office door, Olivia carried with her the unwavering belief that the best was still yet to come.